Today, we're going over all of the gear that I bring on my backpacking trips to take awesome videos and pictures like these. Stay tuned. Whether you want to be the next star on YouTube or just want to get some awesome videos and pictures on your next backpacking trip, this is the gear that I recommend you bring with you to do that. This here on the table is the base kit that I bring with me when I'm trying to record a backpacking trip, mostly for videography. I'll get into the photography aspects of it later. Before we get into the specific pieces of gear that I have on the table, there's three premises that you should take into consideration when you want to record a backpacking trip with you. The first one is the size and weight of your kit. Photography and videography gear is notoriously heavy and bulky, so a lot of the things that I have on the table here are pieces of kit that have come out somewhat recently but are very lightweight for their counterparts, or you could buy much heavier pieces of kit for them. So size and weight is a huge thing. The second part of it is, especially if you live where I do up in New England, is keeping everything dry. These are electronics, and apart from the action camera that you see on the table here, none of this is waterproof, so you got to keep everything dry. And the third thing that you have to keep in mind is keeping everything charged up. We live in a digital world, and this is no exception. Everything on the table here pretty much either charges via an internal battery or has replaceable batteries that you need to keep track of. With all that in mind, let's go over each piece of kit that I bring. Starting out here with things that go fly up in the sky and take really awesome shots that you've probably seen in a lot of my videos is the drone that I bring with me. So the drone that I bring with me is the DJI Mavic Air, the first generation version, right here. That, generally its case, controller, and ND filters. So if you don't know a whole lot about videography, the reason why you want to bring ND filters is to abide by the 180-degree rule. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sure there's 100 videos on YouTube going over it, but that's why I bring those, which go on the front lens of this guy right here. I really like the DJI Mavic Air, the first generation, because it's the lightest weight DJI drone anyway that'll shoot 4K video. There's a bunch of sensors along the bottom and the back and the front that do a really great job at obstacle avoidance, even though I have crashed one of these drones before, so they are not perfect. I just think that this drone right now is the best backpacking drone that money can buy. So moving on to things that don't fly into the air for videography purposes, my go-to video camera is the DJI Osmo Pocket, which is right here. I'll turn it on for you. It is a 3-axis stabilized 4K capable camera. It is the lightest weight stabilized gimbal that you will find, and for backpacking, it takes great pictures, it takes great video. When you pair it to your phone, you can take your phone, which I have right here, and plug it into the little side guy like this, and you can use your entire phone as a monitor for it. And with that, you can have a lot of pro features such as controlling the shutter speed and the ISO to get the exact video that you want. I also will take ND filters with this. Same thing as before, look up why you might want to bring ND filters with a video camera. With a 128 gigabyte video card in it, you're good to go. I've taken this on 6, 7, 8-day trips without having to recharge the battery or replace the SD card in it. So it is my go-to video camera for recording trips. Now, the one thing that it does lack is sound quality. So I have two solutions for that. The first is the Rode Video Micro, and I have the TRRS cable hooked up to a USB-C adapter, which then can fit into the bottom of the DJI Osmo Pocket to be able to record sound, much better sound in a directional sense. I'll just carry it around like this with it in my hand here. Or I will bring the ride coat and just have something to hold on to more easily, as well as the dead cat if it plans on being windy. The second piece of sound equipment that I'll usually bring, if I'm not bringing that or in addition to that, is if I'm planning on doing like talking head type stuff, I'm gonna do an interview at a campsite, is the Rode Video Mic Go. This also uses the same TRRS cable to the DJI Osmo Pocket and has a transmitter and a receiver. So this has a microphone just on the top right here. You can clip it onto your shirt, use it as a lav mic. This will connect onto the other camera that you have and record sound for interviews at the campsite super easily. The last three things that I bring on my trip, generally speaking, are a waterproof action camera. So this is just a GoPro, an older model Hero 5 with a knockoff grip and a lens cap on it. I will bring that mostly if I know it's going to rain or if there's some sort of water feature that I can get some cool shots at, or if I just want a rugged camera to do time lapses, like at night when the weather might be somewhat inclement. I will bring that. The next piece of kit that I bring with me is an external light, so I'll just try that briefly. Super bright here. But this is an Aputure. I forget what the actual model name is, but it's an Aputure light. And this really here is just to light up the campsite, because the one downfall of the DJI Osmo Pocket and the GoPro is that their low light performance at night is not that great. So if you want to take pictures or videos of your campsite at night, if you want to do night interviews, and to supplement the light by the campfire, this light is great. A little slightly on the heavy side, but a great light to bring with you if you're planning on doing night stuff or any sort of interviews, really. And the last piece, which is the third thing that I talked about before, is just a 20,000 milliamp Anker power brick. And this I've taken on week-long trips, never had to recharge it. Charged my phone, charged the cameras, charged the lights, charged the microphones straight off that for a week and had absolutely no problem at all. So actually, one last thing. The last thing that I'll bring is extra batteries for the drone. I don't actually ever fly more than I think that I'm going to, but I'll usually bring at least one extra drone battery just to make sure that I don't waste all the battery and come across something cool that I can't take an awesome picture of anyway. So that is the last thing that I'll bring with me on the trip. And that is basically the entire video kit that I'll bring. So this kit, my base weight of my pack, so like I said before in another video, I usually bring the Exos 48 on most trips, and my base weight right now is 14.5 pounds. The weight of all this gear that you see on the table right here is 4.7 pounds. So it's not heavy per se, but when you compare it to the base weight of my pack, it's adding a third more weight to the pack, 5 pounds on a basically 15-pound base kit. So that whole kit is basically, if I'm trying to make a video of my my backpacking trip, that's the stuff I'll bring. Those cameras in here can take great pictures. I can get great pictures of the GoPro, I can get great pictures out of the Osmo Pocket, and obviously the drone's gonna take some awesome pictures up in the sky. But if I'm really planning on taking a picture that I'm going to print that's not just going to go on Instagram or into a video on YouTube. I'm going to bring one of my Fujifilm mirrorless cameras. So I have two Fujifilm X-T3s, one of those without the battery grip, some extra batteries, usually the Fujifilm XF 10-24 f4, a Manfrotto B-free carbon fiber tripod with 494 RC2 ball head and plate, one of my Peak Design camera straps just so that I can carry around with me, and generally speaking, a couple of Lee filters with the filter adapters, just for something to take. This specific Lee filter is the soft grad filter, so it goes from, if you can see that there, dark to clear on the bottom with a very soft gradient, which is generally good for mountain type scenes, things like that that don't have a very defined horizon, such as if you're going to take like a sunrise picture over the beach, that would be a really hard line there. There's usually a lot of trees and weird angles, so you kind of want a soft grad. So I'll bring a soft grad filter to put on top of it, possibly another filter if I'm going to know I'm going to be taking some long exposure type things, and that's about it. Now, the reason why I separated these two things out is I'm only going to bring this if there's a specific objective that I'm trying to take a picture of. So I'll throw up a couple of pictures here of the last time I was up in the White Mountains, the last time I did a penny loop. I knew that we were going to be for sunrise on top of the mountain on day 2, and I knew there was going to be some opportunities for some great pictures. So that's my photography kit that I'll bring in addition to the rest of the stuff that I talked about before on occasion. Now, the reason why I don't always bring this is even though this is a fairly lightweight with the ball head, it still weighs about 2.5 pounds, which is fairly heavy when your base weight is only 14 pounds. That plus the camera, the filters, and the strap takes my camera weight up from 4.7 pounds from all the stuff we talked about earlier, all the way up to over 10 pounds, in addition to the 14.5 pounds base weight, in addition to the consumables that are going in there. So all this kit with me is going to put my trail weight from somewhere around 20 pounds to well over 30 pounds, which is a significant amount of weight. I'm not going to go into a lot of camera technicalities right now. There's plenty of videos out there if you want to improve your camera, your photography, your videography skills. But if you're going to get a camera to take still pictures that are fairly high quality or very high quality out in the woods, I would recommend a mirrorless APS-C camera because it's going to give you the most high quality images for the least amount of size, weight, and money. So for me, that was the Fujifilm X series. But you know, there are a lot of great camera manufacturers out there that make some good cameras for this kind of stuff. As far as tripods go, this tripod's actually been discontinued by Manfrotto, but there are, if you're going to get a tripod, I would recommend against getting some sort of GorillaPod, which are the smaller ones, the shorter tripods, and go for a full-size, lightweight carbon fiber tripod. It's going to make a huge difference. You think, oh, there's going to be rocks and trees, I can just stick this thing on. Those smaller tripods are great for what they are. I'm using one over here in the setup now to hold this light up, but if you want to take really great pictures out there, I highly recommend getting a full-size carbon fiber tripod. They're actually not that much heavier and not that much bulkier, but vastly more useful. So that's it for today, guys. Hope you like the video. See you soon. Thanks.